This time around, we want to prove that tan 60 degree is equal to cos 30 degree divided by sine 30 degree, and it's the same thing as 1.7321. This is what we want to prove. Remember, in our very first question, that's what we had to prove, that tan 60 is equal to cos 30 all over sine 30, or 1.7321. We will also be working with the same triangles that we dealt with earlier. So bringing back our idea of the SOHCAHTOA, this time around, since tan is our focus, we'll be working with tan, and tan deals with opposite over adjacent. So right here I'm going to write tan is equal to opposite all over adjacent. That's what TOA stands for. And looking at the triangle, we are dealing with triangle ABX. 60 is right at angle B. So the opposite of angle B is AX. So what it means is that the opposite side is the same thing as line AX. While the adjacent side this time is the same thing as line BX, as you can see here. And BX should come down right here, line BX. Now that we know this already, let us just substitute their values for them. What does line AX stand for? When we solved earlier for AX, we ended up finding out that AX is x root 3 all over 2. Remember that? So I'll come right here and fix it. That AX is x root 3 all over 2. But what about BX? So O upon what is BX? From the diagram, BX stands for half of x. So I'll come down here and fix it also. BX stands for half of x. Now this is what we want to simplify. Now look up and find out something. There is x on the numerator, there is x on the denominator. We can cancel them out as well. So if I cancel out the x on the numerator and the x on the denominator, I am left with root 3 all over 2 divided by half. If I solve this fractionally, this is going to be the same thing as 2 root 3 divided by 2. And when cancelled further, as a way of simplifying, our answer ends being the root of 3. Now, take a look at this. This is the root of 3. So we can say that tan 60 degree, take note of that, tan 60 degree is equal to the square root of 3. But is that true? We are going to confirm to see if what the question says is true. First, is square root of 3 the same thing as cos 30 all over sine 30? Let's see if we can prove that. So that brings us to finding what sine 30 stands for. So let's check. First, before we come further here, let's first of all prove this. Cos 30, we already solved it initially to be root 3 all over 2. So I'll just write it that cos 30 had already given us root 3 all over 2. But this time we're looking for sine 30. Sine 30 degree will be what? Now come back to the triangle we have been dealing with initially. First of all, the trigonometric ratio for sine is opposite all over hypotenuse. And looking at 30, sine 30, the opposite is half of x. And the hypotenuse is x. So I'm going to substitute half of x all over x in place of sine 30 right down here. So I'm going to substitute half of x all over x right here. So this has to be simplified. The numerator is already known. What about the denominator? Watch here. On the denominator, which is the same thing as sine 30, I can easily cancel out the x right on the denominator of the denominator and the x on the numerator of the denominator. So I'm left with root 3 all over 2 upon 1 all over 2. Now this is what we want to simplify. We work it out fractionally. This is going to give us 2 root 3 all over 2. And when further simplified by cancelling out the 2's from the numerator and the denominator, we end up with the final answer, root 3. So do you see that tan 60 is root 3, just the same way cos 30 degree all over sine 30 degree gave us root 3. So the proof which we are given initially, which says that we should prove that tan 60 is equal to cos 30 all over sine 30, is true because we have just demonstrated it here. So I can fill it in that tan 60 degree, which is the same thing as root 3, can also be said to be the same thing as cos 30 degree all over sine 30 degree. This has been proved. But is it the same thing as 1.7321 as we claimed? To find that out, I am going to begin by checking with my calculator what the square root of 3 will yield, or the sort of 3. So the root of 3 is equal to 1.7321 approximately. All right, I'll write that down, 1.7321 as the calculator reveals. Now we need to confirm a little further. If we click tan 60 on calculator, will it give us the same thing? Check. Tan 60, what is that going to be? Equal to, we have the same thing, 1.7321 approximately. What about cos 30 divided by sine 30? Will it give us the same thing as well? Let's see. Cos 30 divided by sine 30 equals, what do we have on screen? 1.7321. So we can say for sure that tan 60 is equal to root 3, or cos 30 over sine 30, or 1.7321 QED. We have ended up giving a comprehensive proof of what we are required to do right from the beginning. I hope you enjoyed today's class. In case you got stuck somewhere, you can always pause, rewind, and see it again. Meanwhile, thanks a lot for watching. Hope to see you soon.